of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. All right, beautiful people. Bits wobble. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday. We are at September the 3rd, 2020. It is day 242 of year 2. And the 2-year consecutive day count, we are on day 605. All right, people. So today we are going to finish up the book of Zechariah. We're going to read the last 4 chapters, Zechariah 11, 12, 13, and 14. And they're really short. So let's go ahead and get started. Zechariah chapter 11. Open your doors, Lebanon, so that fire may devour your cedar forest. Weep, you cypress trees, for all the ruined cedars. The most majestic ones have fallen. Weep, you oaks of Bashan, for the thick forests have been cut down. Listen to the wailing of the shepherds, for their rich pastures are destroyed. Hear the young lions roaring, for their thickets in the Jordan Valley are ruined. The good and evil shepherds. Verse 4. This is what Yahuwah says. Go and care for the flock that is intended for slaughter. The buyers slaughter their sheep without remorse. The sellers say, praise Yahuwah, now I'm rich. Even the shepherds have no compassion for them. Likewise, I will have no pity on the people of the land, says Yahuwah. I will let them fall into each other's hands and into the hands of their king. They will turn the land into a wilderness, and I will not rescue them. So I cared for the flock intended for slaughter, the flock that was oppressed. Then I took 2 shepherd staff and named one favor and the other union. I got rid of their 3 evil shepherds in a single month. But I became impatient with these sheep, and they hated me too. So I told them, I won't be your shepherd any longer. If you die, you die. If you are killed, you are killed. And let those who remain devour each other. Then I took my staff called favor and cut it in 2, showing that I had revoked the covenant that I had made with all the nations. That was the end of my covenant with them. The suffering flock was watching me, and they knew that Yahuwah was speaking through my actions. And I said to them, if you like, give me my wages, whatever I am worth, but only if you want to. So they counted out for my wages 30 pieces of silver. Then Yahuwah said to me, throw it to the potter, this magnificent sum at which they valued me. So I took the 30 coins and threw them at the potter in the temple of Yahuwah. Then I took my other staff, union, and cut it in 2, showing that the bond of unity between Judah and Israel was broken. Then Yahuwah said to me, go again and play the part of a worthless shepherd. This illustrates how I would give this nation a shepherd who would not care for those who are dying, nor look after the young, nor heal the injured, nor feed the healthy. Instead, this shepherd would eat the meat of the fattest sheep and tear off their hooves. What sorrow awaits this worthless shepherd who abandons the flock? The sword will cut his arm and pierce his right eye. His arm will become useless and his right eye completely blind. Zechariah chapter 12. Future deliverance for Jerusalem. This message concerning the fate of Israel came from Yahuwah. This message is from Yahuwah, who stretched out the heavens, laid the foundations of the earth, and formed the human spirit. I will make Jerusalem like an intoxicating drink that makes the nearby nations stagger when they send their armies to besiege Jerusalem and Judah. On that day, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock. All the nations will gather against it to try and move it, but they will only hurt themselves. On that day, says Yahuwah, I will cause every horse to panic and every rider to lose his nerve. I will watch over the people of Judah, but I will blind all the horses and their enemies. And the clans of Judah will say to themselves, the people of Jerusalem have found strength in Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. their God. On that day, I will make the clans of Judah like a flame that sets a wood pile ablaze, or like a burning torch among the sheaves of grain. They will burn up all the neighboring nations, right and left, while the people living in Jerusalem remain secure. Yahuwah will give victory to the rest of Judah first, before Jerusalem, so that the people of Jerusalem and the royal line of David will not have greater honor than the rest of Judah. On that day, Yahuwah will defend the people of Jerusalem. The weakest among them will be as mighty as King David, and the royal descendants will be like Yah, like the angel of Yah who goes before them. On that day, I will begin to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. Then I will pour out a spirit of grace and prayer on the family of David and on the people of Jerusalem. They will look on me, whom they have pierced, and mourn for him as an only son. They will grieve bitterly for him as for a firstborn son who has died. The sorrow and mourning in Jerusalem on that day will be like the great mourning for Hadad Rimmon in the valley of Megiddo. All Israel will mourn, each clan by itself, and with the husbands separate from their wives. The clan of David will mourn alone, as will the clan of Nathan, the clan of Levi, and the clan of Shimei. Each of the surviving clans from Judah will mourn separately, and with the husbands separate from their wives. Zechariah chapter 13, a fountain of cleansing. On that day, a fountain will be opened for the dynasty of David and for the people of Jerusalem, a fountain to cleanse them from all their sins and impurity. And on that day, says Yahuwah, I will erase idol worship throughout the land, so that even the names of the idols will be forgotten. I will remove from the land both the false prophets and the spirit of impurity that came with them. If anyone continues to prophesy, his own father and mother will tell him, you must die, for you have prophesied lies in the name of Yahuwah. And as he prophesies, his own father and mother will stab him. Jeez. On that day, the people will be afraid. On that day, the people will be ashamed to claim the prophetic gift. No one will pretend to be a prophet by wearing prophet's clothes. He will say, I am no prophet, I'm a farmer. I began working for a farmer as a boy. And if someone asks, well, what about those wounds on your chest? He will say, I was wounded at my friend's house. Boy, I tell you, the scattering of the sheep. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, the man who was my partner, says Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. Strike down the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn against the lambs. 2/3 of the people in the land will be cut off and die, says Yahuwah, but 1/3 will be left in the land. I will bring that group through the fire and make them pure. I will refine them like silver and purify them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, these are my people, and they will say, this is our God. Zechariah chapter 14, last chapter, y'all, for today. Yahuwah will rule the earth. Watch, for the day of Yahuwah is coming when your possessions will be plundered right in front of you. I will gather all the nations to fight against Jerusalem. The city will be taken, the houses looted, and the women raped. Half the population will be taken into captivity, and the rest will be left among the ruins of the city. Then Yahuwah will go out to fight against those nations, as he fought in times past. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem. And the Mount of Olives will split apart, making a wide valley running from east to west. Half the mountain will move toward the north, and half toward the south. You will flee through this valley, for it will reach across to Azel. Yes, you will flee as you did from the earthquake in the days of King Uzziah of Judah. Then Yahuwah, my God, will come, and all his holy ones with him. On that day, sources of light will no longer shine, yet there will be continuous day. Only Yahuwah knows how this could happen. There will be no normal day and night, for at evening time it will still be light. Well, we know we haven't gotten there yet, y'all. Pay attention to the details. On that day, life-giving waters will flow out from Jerusalem, half toward the Dead Sea and half toward the Mediterranean, flowing continuously in both summer and winter. And Yahuwah will be king over all the earth. On that day, there will be one God, and his name alone will be worshipped. We know we haven't gotten to that day yet because people are still calling Yah by multiple names. I have decided to put away the multiple name calling and just call him by one name, Yah, so that people know, okay, I'll worship the God of heaven and earth, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And his name is Yahuwah. People vary, the slight variance depending on what country you come from, but Yah is normally the universal term. All the land from Geba, north of Judah, to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, will become one vast plain. But Jerusalem will be raised up in its original place and will be inhabited all the way from the Benjamin gate over to the site of the old gate, then to the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel to the king's winepress. And Jerusalem will be filled, safe at last, never again to be cursed and destroyed. And Yahuwah will send a plague on all the nations that fought against Jerusalem. And here, right here, y'all, if y'all ever watched The Walking Dead, this is where they pull that from. I'm reading it right here. Listen. And Yahuwah will send a plague on all the nations that fought against Jerusalem. Their people will become like walking corpses, their flesh rotting away. Their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouths. On that day, they will be terrified, stricken by Yahuwah with great panic. They will fight their neighbors hand to hand. Judah, too, will be fighting at Jerusalem. The wealth of all the neighboring nations will be captured, great quantities of gold and silver and fine clothing. This same plague will strike the horses, mules, camels, donkeys, and all other animals in the enemy camps. In the end, the enemies of Jerusalem who survived the plague will go up to Jerusalem each year to worship the King, Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, and celebrate the Festival of Shelters, or that's the Feast of Tabernacles, or also called the Feast of Booths, or tents, or Sukkot, or the Festival of Shelters. That's when you live inside the tent for 8 days. 8 days. And some people, when they observe it, they put up a tent or build a tent or a sukkah out in their backyard, and they spend the majority of their 8 days out there. Some even sleep out there. Some, if they don't have a backyard, maybe they just have a balcony or a patio, they put it out there. Some people actually leave home and they go to other places to celebrate it with other family and friends. Some people actually go to campgrounds. They have the whole camping experience. Whichever way you celebrate it, it's a memorial celebration. Just celebrate it. It's fun, and the kids love it. Kids love to camp. No matter whether you're in a backyard or if you're on a campground or you're in a mountain somewhere, it's a really good experience. In the end, the enemies of Jerusalem who survived the plague will go up to Jerusalem each year to worship the King, Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, and to celebrate the Festival of Shelters. Any nation in the world that refuses to come to Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahuwah, will have no rain. Hold on. Oh, okay. Any nation in the world that refuses to come to Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, will have no rain. If the people of Egypt refuse to attend the festival, Yahuwah will punish them with the same plague that he sends on other nations who refuse to go. Egypt and the other nations will all be punished if they don't go to celebrate the Festival of Shelters. On that day, even the harness bells of the horses will be inscribed with these words, Holy to Yahuwah. And the cooking pots in the temple of Yahuwah will be as sacred as the basins used beside the altar. In fact, every cooking pot in Jerusalem and Judah will be holy to Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. All who come to worship will be free to use any of these pots to boil their sacrifices. And on that day, there will no longer be traitors in the temple of Yahuwah of heaven's armies. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. That was Zechariah 11:12 13 and 14. All right, let me see here. Yep, that's it, y'all. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. We're about to go ahead and do the blessing, which is found in Numbers chapter 6. Also, tomorrow, we start the last chapter back here in the book of the prophets, Malachi. And then, like, we're done. And we're going to go ahead and go back to Psalms and Proverbs and read that. Remember, because we put Psalms and Proverbs at the end of this reading so we can get through all the books of the prophets. So we'll be done tomorrow. We're just going to read those 4 chapters? I think it's 4 chapters of Malachi. 3 or 4 chapters of Malachi. I forget. But anyway, it's 3 or 4. We're going to read all of them tomorrow. And then the next day, we're just going to begin the Psalms and the Proverbs. And we'll start all over again. What are my plans for Sukkot this year? I just started thinking about it the other day, Tiffany. We probably do it here in the backyard like we did last year. You know, we're going to build a different kind of sukkah this year. We're going to start a little bit earlier, you know, so we're not doing things at the last minute. Yeah, so, but what you doing? Text me. I'm about to go ahead and do the blessing. All right. Or you can respond here and I respond back there. All right, y'all. So y'all know what a blessing is that is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. I love you. See you bright and early in the morning, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.